Okay, so this is Brian's beef tenderloin. So when we first met Brian, they were only cutting a few different cuts of meat, and the rest was going into ground. So this is how you want to create this working relationship with your farmer. You want to have a good relationship with your butcher, but the end result is having that working relationship with your farmer. Because then Brian started contacting us and saying, what can you do? And we're like, what else can we get of your product? And this is how you create sustainability, so that we can take it from the head to the tail. And the best part of the beef, this primal cut, is the beef tenderloin. So this is the ultimate of ultimate beefs. The great thing about beef tenderloin is that luscious, melt in your mouth, succulent. The downfall of a beef tenderloin, it lacks the flavor of what a subprimal cut's gonna have. So this is where you can beef it up with some extra flavor, where you'll see beef with blue and beef with balsamic. But first things first, before we get to enjoy all that, there's some tips and there's some techniques that we need to cover, and that is removing this silver skin. This silver skin protects that tender loin, okay, from any damage. We're going to take that off.
You need to cut that all off? You
need to cut it off. This does not break down with cooking, and you don't want to make your first bite into a beef tenderloin chewy. So as you can see, it's exactly what the name entails. It is a silver skin, and that's how you know the difference between two fats. You're gonna have that creamy fat that you'll see in a ribeye that melts down. That gives you flavor, it gives moisture to your meat. The silver one does not, so. Okay, so with our beef tenderloin today, we're just going to keep it nice and fresh and simple. I want you to experience this beef at its, I guess, maybe the simplest form. We're not going to beef it up with any additional too heavier flavors like blue cheese or anything like that. I think it's important to actually take it in, and you can start seeing the flavor difference between a grass-fed cattle and one that's been raised on corn.
There's a noticeable difference between grass-fed and corn-fed. Noticeable difference. Noticeable.
So Jay, what I'm going to get you to do,
okay,
you're going to strip the herbs.
Ooh. Stripping.
Didn't think that this was this kind of program, did you?
You're gonna have to show me how to strip an herb.
I'm gonna put the tenderloin into my bowl. I'm gonna add a little bit of Pristine Gourmet's first pressed soy. Okay, so I'm gonna pour a little bit. This is going to help adhere my salt, my pepper, and my herbs to my tenderloin. And it's also going to act as an inhibitor when we hit the grill over there. It's gonna attract the heat so that you can start to get some caramelization on the beef. We're gonna add some herbs. Okay, so hold up your thyme. This is fresh thyme. You're gonna take it and just strip it down the stalk and over top. Get to do that. You're gonna do pretty well quite a few of them. Then to add some kosher salt. It's important to salt your food. And a little bit of cracked black. Again, keeping it nice and simple. With some fresh herbs, some salt and pepper.
So this really means a lot to you, Tracy, as a chef owner, to really connect with us farmers, you know, guys like Brian and myself. And it almost gives you a sense of peace knowing that you're getting good quality product and consistent product. And the chefs that I've dealt with, that is so important for them to get that consistent quality every time they put an order in.
A lot of my farmers have now ended up becoming my friends. And that's a kind of the trust that we've instilled with each other, and going over and having dinner, but I haven't been to your house yet for dinner.
Well, you're getting further up on the list, but we'll let you. We'll notify
start
you.
bumping some people off.
Yeah, my peeps will get a hold of yours. That's okay.
Let my people call your people?
Something like that.
All right, we're looking like we got tons of herbs in here. Now, and the thing is to remember about cooking with fresh herbs is that it does lose their flavor the longer that you cook, okay? So this is why we've picked a very small, we picked beef tenderloin, we're cooking it to a mid-rare, so it's not gonna be on that heat for a very long time. But if you were cooking a roast and you were using some fresh herbs, which you'll see our roast later that we've done, we'll just finish it again with some fresh herbs right at the very end so that you get that pow. We do a lot of garnishing also on our plates with fresh herb, and we call it edible garnishes. We teach our customer that you can just like how you were doing, go right down and sprinkle that fresh thyme all over their whole plate. And it's a good substitute for salt.
And it's so aromatic that, like, to do it right at the end, you get all that,
yes.
Fragrance and flavor.
And, yeah, the fragrance. And I think that's what starts to trigger your taste buds too. It's like you smell it right off the bat and you're like, okay, this smells good, it's gotta taste good. So I've just coated this. I'm just gonna walk over to the smoker here and smoke them if you got them.
Smoke them if you got them.
All right, so we got Brian's contraption here, the smoker, the big dog. Here we go.
It smells good, looks good.
It's beautiful. And like I said earlier, your number one thing that you're going to notice different about grass-fed beef is the size. And as you can see, this beef tenderloin is not big. And the reasoning for this is it's grass-fed. It hasn't been injected with hormones and it hasn't been fed antibiotics. That's what's pumping up those big, huge honking tenderloins.
And that's very important.
It's very important. And it's very important to remember what you're ingesting, because if you're feeding that cattle hormones and antibiotics, you're eating that. Yeah. And I choose not to inject myself. I'm drug-free. I guess sure, drug-free. Anyways, so we had our beef tenderloin on the smoker for about 26 minutes exactly, according to Brian, my assistant over on the smoker assistant. And now we let it rest for 10 minutes. That is so important, is letting your meat rest. And what happens is it allows all those juices to find its way back to its place. And when you cut it open, your plate won't be covered with juice. And that's when you know that someone knows what they're doing with their meat, how to cook it. So Jay, my other assistant, I feel so lucky today, is going to start off. We're going to put this beef tenderloin on a tomato salad. He's going to lay out tomatoes across the top here. And I'm just going to give some finely sliced, and I like it real fine. I just want a hint of onion, not wanting it to be the overpowering. Okay, good, good. Got the basil in there. Gonna just sprinkle a little bit with onions. And now I'm gonna cut this beautiful piece of meat. All right, so, oh, lovely.
Well, that looks good.
Look at that. That's just sexy, sexy, sexy piece of meat. Okay, so we got a beautiful mid-rare. Okay, now we're going to just take your extra virgin, is it a virgin?
Absolutely, it's a virgin through and through.
Our soy oil, we're going to just drizzle a little bit over top. And you know what I love about your soy oil? Look at the color that when it hits a white plate. It looks like sunshine on a plate.
Yeah, it really stands out.
And then we're going to just give a little bit kosher salt and a little bit of freshly cracked black pepper, some fresh chives, a little bit of parsley, and these are the parsnip chips. Oops. It's like Jenga of parsnip chips here. And you know what, it's always a running joke at the Bellworth house. If it isn't 3 tiers, it's not Bellworth. Okay, that one doesn't belong in there. There you go. On the side, I have roasted garlic. I've just cracked it open that you can actually take some of that garlic out of there that's been roasted for hours and spread it on your meat and enjoy it with some fresh tomatoes and basil.
Well, thank you so much, Tracy, for showing us this kicked up recipe. I can hardly wait to bite into it. And feel free to visit our website, visit Tracy's website and Brian's website on the screen in front of you, and check out our Facebook page. So glad you tuned in. See you in the field.